Hey everyone, I'm Chad.
And I'm Carrie.
And welcome to
Let's Get Physical.
This is the show where we go through our large physical media collection.
Because Chad won't stop buying stuff.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
In my defense, that does mean that we get to own all these movies forever.
Well, unless the actual disc breaks or the media player becomes obsolete. And rather than doing a show and tell, let's watch these movies and review them together.
Each week, or hopefully each week, we'll bring you a new review of something that's in our collection.
So without further ado, let's get to our first film. Chad, what is it?
Our first film today is Carnival of Souls. We actually have this one on the Criterion Collection, and it's one of those things where I have like a pretty good sized Criterion Collection. I can't stop buying them, and so we're like, let's do a show. So now we have an obligation to watch at least all of these. So
okay, so Chad, who made this movie? What's it about?
Well, it was directed by someone named Herc Harvey, starring Candice Hilligoss. Probably some unknown names for you there, but this is was a very unknown movie, at least kind of lost time a little bit for a while until it started to get like a resurgence, kind of, underground resurgence, and Criterion obviously bringing it back and giving us a really nice edition like this. And on this, the plot synopsis is a young woman in a small Kansas town survives a drag race accident, then agrees to take a job as a church organist in Salt Lake City. En route, she is haunted by a bizarre apparition that compels her toward an abandoned lakeside pavilion. Made by industrial filmmakers on a small budget, the eerily effective B-movie classic Carnival of Souls was intended to have the look of a Bergman and the feel of a does that say cockatoo? Cockatoo? A cockatoo? Is that like a bird?
I'm not going to attempt to pronounce. I think it's like a person, an artist.
Oh, cockatoo. Sorry. There you go. And with its strikingly used locations and spooky organ score, it succeeds. Herc Harvey's macabre masterpiece gained a cult following on late-night television and continues to inspire filmmakers today. I think this is exactly what this movie is it's a foundational film within the landscape of horror movies that came even before Night of the Living Dead, which a lot of people say inspired or created the modern zombie of what we look at it, but like Carnival of Souls came out even before that.
So our physical copy, like we mentioned, is a Criterion Collection copy. Mm-hmm. So it has some cool special features. One is an audio commentary, which we didn't listen to just because we didn't want to rewatch the entire movie with commentary.
I think we're probably going to make that a thing going forward. We're not going to listen to the audio commentaries necessarily for this, but if it's one that we just find like really interesting, like this one actually might be, because director Herc Harvey was doing the commentary, and I feel like that would make this movie even more interesting than it already is to hear his thoughts on it. But I don't know if we'll at some point come back and try to do like a remix or like a bonus episode where we talk about the audio commentary. That could be a thing, but right now we're just not doing that part.
Yeah, or maybe if it's a movie we've seen like 10 million times before, we might do the audio commentary because we know the movie so well. We don't need to like
like Shaun of the Dead or
Halloween. If there's an audio commentary on any of those, really, we've seen those.
yeah.
There's an interview with Dana Gould, I think, about the history of this movie, a video essay, a documentary about a reunion between the cast and crew in 1989, tour of the film's location, some excerpts about the production company Centurion Corporation, which is really interesting because, like, I think as you learn in some of these special features, this movie was made by a company and a director that normally films like technical films and stuff, like stuff you would see in like, I don't know, like driver's ed or like workplace safety or something.
Yeah.
There's some deleted scenes, some outtakes, which are, I think it's just more like they kind of left the camera rolling. It's not like, bloopers or anything.
Right.
Yeah, history of Saltaire Resort and the history of Saltaire Resort in Salt Lake City, which is the place that inspired the movie.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the cool thing about this movie is that it's a movie that was inspired by just one place, this like ghostly resort of once was. And when you had the history kind of thing in the special features, it was really cool because they just showed like old images of this place, and then you heard audio of, I think, either recreations or like real audio from the time, which is kind of creepy in itself, owning to this as a horror movie. But speaking of the rest of the special features, I really, really like Dana Gould's not commentary, but his interview, because he like went through his appreciation of the movie. He talked about just why this is like in his top 5 of movies of all time, why this is such a classic, what it like, inspired, and how it was kind of like didn't get the attention that it deserved for a while. But as Carrie said, then you had that big convention that they had, which it's kind of a small movie, so it wasn't like a huge thing that a lot like Night of the Living Dead would probably get like a huge reception or something like this. This is a much smaller movie that didn't get a lot of attention. So I'm glad that we can talk about it today to bring more light to it. Hopefully get more people to watch this, because I feel like a lot of people don't watch a lot of the older classic, 1960s style movies. So
yeah, and I would say if you're not a physical media person, like you're never gonna buy this on Criterion, you can still find out about the history of this movie if you subscribe to Shudder, or even do like a free trial to Shudder. The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. Joe Bob has an episode on this movie, and he goes like really far into the history of this movie, like how it was made, and then how because it was made and like released, but then it just like wasn't released very far, but then it was kind of like resurrected later, and he goes on this whole spiel about how this is actually like a hidden gem type of movie. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, well, first I want to you brought Joe Bob up. I love Joe Bob stuff because it's just one of those kind of like midnight movie with person. It'll cut at a certain part of the movie, cut to Joe Bob. He'll go on for like 20 minutes, maybe not that long, but for a long time, just talking about the movie. And sometimes he'll trail off and to other kind of areas of it, and just of his like life and career of being like a movie critic and a lot of industry stuff. So you learn a lot about like filmmaking and industry, like Hollywood industry stuff from watching that, and I highly recommend checking that out. But yeah, it is interesting when you find movies that you may even know really well that didn't actually get popularity when they were first released. Like even like It's a Wonderful Life, which I'm sure we'll get to around come December, didn't get love when it first came out, and then much later it started to catch on. I think stories around that are fascinating when you have movies that are like that.
Yeah. All right. So, should we get into our spoiler-free thoughts on this movie?
Yeah, spoiler-free.
What did you think about it?
We're going to do our spoiler-free, and then we'll get into spoiler thoughts. We'll let you know, and you can just turn it off, go watch the movie, and then come back in the spoiler, unless you don't care, and then you could just watch the whole thing. Please like and subscribe. But I really like this movie. I think it's really interesting. I think the problem for some people, because we also want to let people know like who might like this, who might not, is it's kind of a slow movie. It's like a slow burn, but it's interesting in its framing and its structure and how it presents things to you, because it doesn't really tell you what's going on, which I think a lot of the best movies are like that, where it just kind of like has you discover and try to think about what's really going on and the complexity of like what's happening to this person, the main character in the movie. I like that. I like the ambiguity. I love the slow pacing. And I think I liked it even more from like a second watch, because I think the first watch I was just maybe kind of confused a lot. But then with the second watch, I think it just clarified a lot more. But also you just really feel that like creepy vibe of it, because you have a ghostly figure who's haunting our main character. And I think what they do with the filmmaking and the shots surrounding that are really great. and really catch you off guard. But then all of the, you know, makeup effects and, you know, stuff surrounding that as well. And the location, of course, they filmed it at the place that inspired the movie, which is such a cool thing. I don't even know if they got permission. I can't remember. They said it in the special features, but I can't remember. I think, you know what? I don't think they did, because I think they said that Dana Gould said that there was a time where they were filming one of the final scenes of the movie, and the cops were called, and they had to come see what was going on because there's no activity up there generally. It's one of those like spooky locations that people, I guess, don't go to. But yeah, I think this is a great classic film that inspired a lot, and you can definitely see a lot of influences of, like, you know, influences on you know, Night of the Living Dead, David Lynch, like, you know, Twin Peaks type stuff. So I really dig the style of the movie for sure.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, this is a black and white movie. It's like, it is one of the most gorgeously shot black and white movies ever. And like this Criterion version is just like so well presented and well done. The music is so spooky. I think the composer is Glenn Moore, and it fits the movie so well. Like Chad was saying, there's some like really great slow burn scares in this movie. Like if you like a good slow burn scare, this movie is definitely for you. It's a great watch in that respect. If you are more like you want a lot of jump scares, or like you don't do as well with older horror movies, maybe this isn't the movie for you. But it is like like Chad said, like a fantastic, like foundational movie. The acting's phenomenal, especially considering for a lot of the actors, like this was probably one of their biggest roles that they had.
Like first roles, kind of a deal.
There's a lot of great themes in this movie. It's just a fun. It's not. I don't know if I would say fun, actually.
It's fun. It's a horror movie, like a spooky
fun.
movie.
It's scary. If you like slow burn scares, like you will have a great time with this movie.
Yeah, it's fun, like especially if you're like with people, you can kind of try and guess what's going on, kind of a mystery a little bit there. So yeah, it's fun in that way, but you know, it's also a lot of like, you know, woman being stalked kind of a deal. So, you know, there's stuff to get into, but we'll get more into that with the spoiler. I did want to touch on some of your thoughts real quick. I totally agree about the music. I think I mean, it's cool that they just made the main character an organist, like a church. So they have like really great shots of like the organ. I think they filmed it in like an organ like factory or something like that.
Oh.
It was like something where it's like they had just like huge organ. You're like, that's like as big as the room or something like that. I remember music being like a really big part of it, and like organ like style music. So Carrie's totally right about that. I remember they talked a lot about that in the special features. And then the other thing is, Carrie's right. This movie looks beautiful, because if you watch a lot of classic movies, there's a lot of movies out there that are really good, but might not have the best transfers. So if you're watching stuff on like Tubi, we're watching Little Shop of Horrors, not the musical one, but the Roger Corman one, the one that invented the idea of Little Shop of Horrors. And we're watching that, and we were like, this looks so bad. And then we had to find like a proper transfer of the movie, and we're like, wow, this is like night and day, like better, way better. It's film preservation and stuff like that. That's why we're doing a show like Let's Get Physical, to talk about film preservation and inspire people to want to, if you have room and you know, finances. I know that's a hard thing to come by these days, but if you have the time, the money, and the physical space to do it, film preservation is a big thing. And so to see Criterion get a movie like this, bring it to people's attention, and make it look as beautiful as it does. Sorry, that was a long-winded way to say that I agree with you that it looks beautiful, because a lot of movies don't. So.
Oh yeah, one other thing I wanted to say was this movie reminds me a lot of like an extended, like a movie-length version of a Twilight Zone episode.
Yes.
Just not like partly because it's in black and white, but also just like the style of it reminds me so much. Like the writing and the way it's filmed remind me so much of a Twilight Zone episode. But it doesn't feel like something that's like unnaturally long. Like I think this is actually like a really well-paced movie. But just like that kind of style, is that what it reminds me of?
Yeah, I can totally get that. I mean, Twilight Zone inspired so much. You know, it's kind of got that, like, I don't want to say gimmicky, but that kind of like twist and that like hook, and like you're always the mystery about it. And Twilight Zone's always like that, where it's like, you know, kind of twisty and stuff like that a lot of the time. So yeah, well, those were our spoiler free thoughts of the movie. Like I said, if you don't want to know any more and you want to go watch it, highly recommend it. Highly recommend you go check it out. Come back for the spoiler thoughts, please. You know, if you have an interest, and or if you don't care, you can keep watching. Please go check out this movie because it's really good.
Yeah.
All right, so now we get into the spoiler thoughts.
Yeah. I guess we can just kind of start with what we thought about the plot, like starting at the beginning. So just in short, our main character, Mary, is riding with her friends in a car. They all get run off the road, and she is the sole survivor. She comes out, they kind of get run off of a bridge into the water, and she's the sole person who makes it like out of the water. And then she was already, I think, going to move to a different town to play the organ for a church. And so she goes through with that move. That's kind of the beginning, the setup of it. I think it's pretty well done. It starts off a really kind of interesting story. You're like, it's still kind of straightforward at that point, but you're not quite sure what's going on, what's going to happen.
But then there's the hook. And the hook is that they're like kind of seeing this wreck. There's like, oh, there's no survivors of this thing. And then Mary just kind of appears on the shore, almost like she just like walked from the car and walked onto the thing, but there's like, it's so quick that it doesn't even feel like she walked out of the water, and it's just very weird. And people just kind of like go, oh, okay, Mary's here, I guess. The movie just proceeds. And they don't really like explain what happened. I don't think Mary really even talks about what happened. And she just goes about her life. And then, like we said in the plot description, she moves to a new place. She's trying to acclimate there. She's meeting people. One guy in particular is very creepy. And then she sees a place that draws her to it. And she's asking about it. And then people are like, you know, it's out of bounds. You can't go there. And
it's an abandoned carnival. Yeah, and she like starts seeing, as the movie goes on more and more, she starts seeing this like man. He keeps popping up. I mean, those are kind of like the biggest scares of the movie, when he starts to pop up like out of nowhere in places in her life. Like there's some scenes where he pops up while she's driving. I think it's past the carnival.
Yeah, like in the mirror side, the mirror, or the window of the car.
The window, yeah.
It's almost like, if you haven't seen it, this is a jump scare, but in The Grudge, the Sarah Michelle Gellar one that happens in I think a bus window or whatever. They probably just watched Carnival of Souls, and they're like, we're gonna redo that jump scare.
Well, and that's similar to the scare from the plane episode of the Twilight Zone. I think it has like William.
The clown?
No, it's like a furry man or something.
And it's a clown and something else.
Oh.
Outside of the airplane window?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
the clown on the wing.
I don't think it's a clown. I think it's like a.
Well, I don't know.
A furry person or something.
I know there's a clown in something that happened. Maybe it was something that happened later that was inspired by. But anyways.
I think William Shatner's in that episode. But yeah, it like reminded me of that a lot. And then there is one where I think she sees him like in the mirror behind her. It's like the guy who's kind of like stalking her the whole movie. And he like turns into the Carnival of Souls guy who's stalking her the whole movie. There's like a real life guy, like her roommate.
He's creepy. He's not a roommate. He lives in the same building.
They both live in like what's it called? Like building? It's kind of like an apartment.
Halfway
it's like house? It's like when it's a little not really done as much anymore.
Hostel?
No, it's like a person owns a house, but they rent out a few rooms to different people.
Is there a term for that?
I'm sure there is. It's like a B&B, but it's like permanent. It's not,
sounds like
vacationers.
Just sounds like it's just like a landlord with a bunch of apartments.
I guess so.
But yeah, the person, the Carnival of Souls guy, he actually has a name. It's called The Man, and it's played by Herc Harvey, the director. Mm-hmm. Which is really cool. And the makeup that they use for all of the Souls people is really cool. Yeah. It's very simple, but it's effective. And so are all the jump scares that happen that we're talking about. We're not saying this is riddled with jump scares, but all of the scares in it are really, really effective. Obviously, you might have seen the movie and you know that. I do think that the scares in this are really good, because especially when they have like the one they're playing it in the mirror and she's seeing the real life guy, and then it changes to the man at one point, and his face just shows up. You just said that whole thing?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But that's
okay.
But we both remembered it as something very like awesome. It's like one of the big like things that they were able to accomplish that I thought was really well done.
You said it more clearly. I was just like, the guy's stalking her in real life, and then the Carnival of Souls.
Maybe that's why I got confused.
Yeah, probably because I didn't say it. Like,
but
really.
I guess as like, a woman, maybe talk about like your thoughts on this woman being like stalked by like two different people, one seemingly real and one seemingly otherworldly, nightmarish.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I thought it was like a good juxtaposition because it's like Mary, she's so scared by what's happening to her, like kind of the supernatural stuff that's happening to her. Because she's also going through this thing where she's like not disappearing, but like people won't respond to her for like periods of time. Like she basically doesn't exist to anyone in the world. And it's kind of like she's so scared by these supernatural things that she kind of leans into this guy that she like, you can tell she knows this guy is really no good and he's kind of like dangerous and not good for her.
Creep.
Yeah, a creep. But she's like so desperate to like hold on to something or some part of her life and to not be scared that she like basically like dates him and like tries to stay around him so that there's like just someone there. And Dana Gould actually in his interview had some good theories about this as well. I think he talked about how like this is maybe this guy is just setting you up for, something creepy is going on in real life, so you're more open to other creepy stuff, like creepy supernatural stuff occurring as well. He put it much better, and probably I'm like misconstruing it a little bit, but
he apparently watches this movie like every week or something like that.
Really?
So much.
Wow.
Which I love when people find movies like that I don't think I have a movie that like that at all. I don't watch one movie every single week.
I watch the Bob's Burgers movie a lot. I wouldn't say every week, but a lot.
That's fun. There's a lot of fun music in that, so I guess that makes sense.
Well, I treat it as I watch the series a lot, and I treat it just as like after I finish the series, then I watch the movie.
Definitely. Each criterion also comes with a booklet, has a whole like booklet or article or like review, like written review or analysis of the movie. And we didn't read through that because I didn't want it to like affect my like, opinion of it too much. But we do plan to read it maybe tonight to see, how close we were to how other people might have seen the movie. But it does feel like the movie has Mary basically in a purgatory of sorts. And this is like basically turning purgatory into a place. And I kind of like started to try and feel like, because I remember thinking like the first time I watched it, especially a little bit this last time too, and then I kept thinking about it. You had a really good point when you were talking about the supernatural turning her more towards the normal, or vice versa, the mirror of that. But I was trying to think about, why is like that guy stalking her? Like, why is he even in this movie? Like, is that necessary? And I was thinking about maybe it's just like Mary reliving her life and just kind of seeing like patterns of creepy behavior and being followed, and then slowly fading away throughout the movie into accepting her death and her mortality. Because we think from the very beginning of the movie, or at least I do, that she's dead and that she's never actually really there. And then this is all kind of in her mind, or she's in an actual physical place that is purgatory. So she's manipulating all this, or this is just all kind of like in her mind. Because then she starts to, like Carrie was saying, fade, and a lot of people don't see her or hear her. And then when she finally visits the carnival at the end, she sees herself there in the same makeup as the souls that are there, showing that she's transcended into that. Of course, it also scares the shit out of her. So, did you get anything like that, or?
Kind of. Like, I think it definitely is an open question in the movie, and like a really valid interpretation is like, that she was dead the whole time. This is purgatory. Like, none of this really happened. And I do like your take on it, like that, these are patterns, and like she's just like slowly coming to accept her death. I think another way you could look at it, I don't know if it's like I strictly think of it as like, oh, she's been dead since the beginning. Like, I don't know. Like, yes, but also like, I don't know. Sometimes in my mind, I'm like, maybe all these things did happen, but she's just like so ingrained in the world that she just took a long time to like actually accept her death and to let go, but all those things did still actually happen that happened to her.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think you said something like this, but the movie Defending Your Life, where you like kind of see visuals of your past when you've transcended and you're looking back at your life. That's kind of, I think, what I was thinking this movie kind of could have been. So yeah, I guess maybe we're on the same page. So
well, that I was gonna say that's not really how I took it. I think that's how you took it. I took it as like all of these things, like she had the car accident, but she kind of like was still so connected to and within the world and unwilling to accept her death that she's still like a part of her just kept living. And so all those things that we saw happen like did happen in real life in that timeline, like moving forward. But then at the end, she's like so pulled towards death because she is actually dead that she finally like is drawn to the carnival and like accepts it.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense too. I think we're both kind of on the same page. Just a little different on how we're thinking about it. But I think that goes to show that the movie is a little, I don't want to say confusing, because that kind of makes it sound like it's not well done. I think it's like purposefully like ambiguous. I mean, they built this whole story around seeing a location and trying to make a creepy movie out of it. And I think making a movie like that, just seeing a location like, hey, let's shoot something there, and then writing a script to fit that, I think this is like the best version of something like that. It's just such a cool way to do it. Yeah, all the visuals and everything that shows her being drawn to that location, and finally seeing herself dancing with all the souls, and then still being scared by it, but then eventually being drawn, and then because I think at the very end, right, they cut to all the people, and then they're just like, yeah, she died in the car.
Oh, do they? That's a pretty straightforward interpretation.
I think they did, but
I think you're right.
Let's check. We just looked it up, and we're still confused.
I think it just reaffirmed that both of our like viewing, like interpretations of this movie are like very valid.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, because it's kind of like trippy in the way that like where her body is, where her mind is, what the world that she's present in is, and it's all very ambiguous, and I like that, because we can have conversations like this.
All right, well, I think that's it for this film. I think that was like most or all of our thoughts.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, me too.
This was a great first episode. I can't wait to share more stuff with you, so look forward to more videos coming soon. Hopefully, like we said, this is weekly and it doesn't turn to monthly, but we're going to try to get videos out as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I think our next one, if we want to give a little preview, is going to be Bound for Glory.
Yeah, Bound for Glory is going to be our next one.
And yeah, if you like this, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Smash that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. If you have opinions on the movie, if you're looking forward to seeing the movie, just share all that. If there's any movies you'd like to see us do next, then that can help us prioritize certain things if we have it in our collection, or if we don't have it, maybe we can get it. That's just what Carrie wants, is me to buy even more movies for us to keep this going, right? But
we'd love to hear, I think, your thoughts on this movie if you've seen it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more.
Bye-bye.